First of all, guitar's gonna take a while, because we're gonna try out all the cabs with all the amps. For the first day, it's gonna be just figuring out what we're using.
It's got some extra SIDS going on.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error.
We pretty much started out with Pat's triple rectifier. He has 3 of them, and I have 2 dual rectifiers. Rectifier is pretty dry by itself if you don't have a pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it's fuller without the pedal, but it tightens up with the pedal almost. Like, I don't know.
We ended up going with one of these triples that he bought off of a friend of ours. That's just the best sounding one for the sound that we're going for. Is super distorted, lots of bottom end, but we want definition with the notes.
We tried out a bunch of different cabinets.
We chose between a Marshall and a Mesa Boogie cabinet with 300 watt EV speakers in it.
I mean, they sound good together.
No doubt about it. EVs are fucking beasts, man. That one is this old Marshall that's Pat's. We're using that for the leads with the angle head. For leads, we try and get a different tone. Don't necessarily have to have a super overdriven sound because we're not doing rhythms for the chunk, bottom end crunch. It's more like a smooth, high string lead tone.
I'm just happy to get 2 different sounds. That's really, it doesn't matter what amps they are, as long as they sound good together. And I mean, they sound good together.
That's the best guitar sound I think I've ever got. You know? I finally achieved all this time. You know?
I'm really surprised how smoothly the process went. Sometimes it's hard to get. It takes a while to get exactly what you want to hear. And I think we found the right combination this time.
We did the same with the bass. Exhausted all our options over a couple of days, couple hour, couple day type arrangement.
It's like, it just sounds like it's somewhere else.
Instead of like,
See how that's present?
we were analyzing the shit out of it, you know? Just making sure that everything was proper, listening to the bass by itself, listening to the bass with the guitars. Man, it's cutting through great.
Here's the rig I used for the recording of this album. SVT4 Pro and an SVT810 cabinet. This is an older cabinet. The new ones are a little different now. We tend to like the sound of this one a little bit better than the newer one. It has a different wood that the cabinet is made out of. I think this is like a kind of a particle board, and the new ones are made out of plywood. And for some reason this one sounded better. Man, that does sound wicked.
Oh, it sounds incredible. Yeah.
Perfect. It's about perfect. It's the Ampeg sound. You know what? That helps it sound a little more tubey.
I wanted to make sure it was, with this record, everything to tape per se. I wanted to be such great tones.
Sounds like a fun tank.
Yeah, I like it.
Eric tried something a little different this time. He put 2 mics on here. One is a normal mic, and then the other one is a condenser mic. The condenser mic is for getting the finger attack, the click. And that way he can blend those 2 sounds. He can blend the clickier, higher end sound with the low, more traditional bass sub kind of sound. So just gives him a little more tone shaping options when it comes time for the final mix.
I mean, I keep lowering the volume too, you know, and it's still cutting through. You know, that's
Great.
That's all I'm looking for.
Very good news.
Yeah.
It's going to fit into the mix a little bit better than the bass did last time. Even though it's the same bass and actually the same amplifier head, just the things that Eric did to dial it in and different miking techniques are going to be what makes the difference this time.
Something inside says, you know what, we're ready to rock, and that's when I know it's ready to go. It's really instinct.
It's always great to work with him because he's a guitar player also.
I mean, I've been playing death metal for 20 years, you know, so I mean, I feel like I have a good grasp on what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to death metal.
He's got a really good ear. You know, he tends to hear mistakes and tuning issues that I know I would miss.
Just want to make sure that it's in. Tuning is key.
Tuning was never an issue. I'd be done with guitar so fast, but it's always an issue. Guitars are very finicky. They're very temperamental. They're very moody. Certain things will affect them, like if it's too cold in here, if it's too hot, or you look at one wrong and it'll sometimes they'll go out of tune. The most annoying part about a tuner is too, is it in tune? It's like my guitar right now is going, well, kinda. It's not giving me a straight enough.
It's not going in tune, and the strings are on their way out.
Part of playing that's not really fun. Change the strings. That's why I hate fucking changing strings. I gotta stretch them out and hopefully it stays in. Hopefully.
Because we're using a strobe tuner, which is very precise.
We're gonna have to get more intonated because what's gonna happen is we're gonna track the bass, and Alex's bass is gonna be perfectly intonated. And that's when you really notice is once the bass gets in there, because the bass doesn't have as many issues with intonation.
Intonation is just making sure that your instrument's actually going to be in tune everywhere.
Floyd Rose on a guitar tuned to B is like it's kind of like a recipe for homemade dynamite.
I used to use Floyd Roses all the time. It's pretty much, you know, the standard for playing extreme music. You gotta have the tremolo and do the bar stuff.
I like having a whammy bar on my guitars. Even if I was playing a guitar like without a Floyd Rose, I'd probably knock it out of tune because I pick very hard.
The lower you tune, the harder it is, and when you're trying to intonate the guitar, you know, the Floyd saddle only goes back so far most of the time.
It's like the whole bridge has to be set back farther really for it to intonate for a lower tune. And I've had to take this part right here, I had to take it over to my friends, and he had to grind it down so I can move it back even farther. It's locked down here and here, but now it's locked down here so it won't move at all. Did some drilling and put some stuff in there. Keeps this part from moving. Got to improvise, adapt, and overcome.
During some of the tracking, we put a hairband around here. When you have these strings clamped, like not clamped, but just something lightly around them, any of that extra noise up there doesn't come through.
I got this little girly thing here, little hair thing here, because so this way we won't get the...
A lot of the fingerstyle stuff, it's not necessary, but for tapping, it can get kind of noisy, so having something like that is good.
I got volumes taped up, so in the recording, and it's like on 8 instead of 10. This way it's like taped on 10.
It's pretty sensitive controlling, and if you switched it even a little, it would be a noticeable difference. So we couldn't risk that, you know, going from day to day recording the songs. We didn't want to have a great sound one day and come in the next day and somebody bumped into it and have a different sound, and then it would take us a while, or maybe we wouldn't be able to at all find exactly what we had the day before.